Okay, this is going to be another video on which I call the Gamera, but I guess actually finding out it's called the Gamera because the character, I guess the fought Godzilla, was named Gamera, not Gamera. I was misinformed. Alright, so this is the first one anyway. You might remember I was all proud of this one before I took it out for my flights and crashed it and beat it up and redid it. So let's go over a couple flaws. First of all, you can see the popsicle sticks. That's because it's crashed there, and these wanted to break off because I didn't have a spar across there. You can see the paper starting to lift off. You can see if you open it up, you can see that there's 3 servos there, but only 2 of them are hooked up because I wasn't a good enough pilot to fly yank and bank with this thing in a rudder, and I'm not that good of a pilot. I'm just learning, just coming off the FT flyers. So anyway, this one was version 1, I guess you could say, and crashed it quite a few times and learned how to fly it, and now we're going on to version 2. So here is version 2. Hold on. Look at this one. Version 2. Alright, well, that looks nasty, don't it? I have flown it, not really successfully yet. It wants to flip over on its side. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. As you can see, there's a wrinkle there, but this one does have a spar in it, which you can see there. You can see that the paint is wearing off where it hits the ground. Basically the same version, just a few different upgrades. I used a different foam this time. I used airplane foam. It's a pretty good foam. It doesn't have paper on it. I didn't like the old one peeling off and peeling apart, and I didn't want to do it on a Dollar Tree foam board, so I went with this better foam. And yeah, I kind of like it. It seemed real flimsy, real loose, so I reinforced it in a bunch of places using some techniques I saw on YouTube. One was regular drywall tape. You take that and you fold it over. Right? It's kind of sticky, but not really that well. I found out this stuff here, this foam-tac, which I built a lot of this with hot glue, but this foam-tac, I really like this foam-tac for this stuff because you would fold the tape over, smear the foam-tac on. The tape would kind of want to lift off, which you want it to do anyway because this stuff has got a solvent in it that's got to dissolve before the glue starts kicking. So you got, 20 seconds, a minute, something like that before it's actually really good to go. But as it's drying, you just take something and kind of, go like this and fold it around until it's all dry. And then once it's dry and it's hard, really protects these edges good. So I would recommend doing that. Anybody that's building a plane like this. I also got a couple pieces here you can see folded over because there's a rubber band that holds all this together. Okay, so that was a good tip. Another thing that I bought the whole kit for like $40, and it came with that glue, and it came with this stuff, a fiberglass mesh. It's really fine, really thin, almost looks like silk. And I cut that and I laid it in right here. I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't even see it. But there's that fiber is in here. And then I took this foam finish. And same way, it's like a putty, or even thinner than putty. It's almost like a real thick glue, I guess you would say. And there's videos on it. And you just smear it in there with a credit card and smear it down and let it dry. And so this is all reinforced with fiberglass mesh. So these wings should stay on pretty good. There's just a tape joint here, which painted up pretty good. I covered the whole thing with this foam finish before I spray painted it, and I painted it with acrylic paint. Did the Gamera. It's turned out pretty good, I think. I mean, this is my first attempt, so I'm not an artist, but he's badass. And let's see, let's show you inside any improvements that I might have made that I forgot about, because you always forget. Alright, if you remember on the last video, this is a swappable. Okay, on the last video, I had pinched these wires right here, and didn't want that to happen again. So I put a tube in here to try to reinforce this, so that no wires can get pinched in here again. Here is a weak point in these planes. I notice if you land on the tail, which I've been doing lately, that it will crack here. So this is reinforced here. I've also got some magnets, if you can see it. There's a magnet there, a magnet up here. So it snaps shut, and also another magnet here and another one there. The power pod, that's basically the same deal. Only 2 servos this time. So easy peasy to fly. It's just a 3-channel. This thing has a hard time taking off from the ground. It doesn't seem to have enough power. I don't know if it's the motor, if it's the prop, if it's the battery. The battery fits right in here, fits good. Center of gravity seems to be pretty good. So I have to take off from either like gravel. From gravel it'll take off. Pavement, no. I'm sure water would be just fine. It's made to take off of water, but I'm not a good enough pilot, and I don't trust my skills enough to go flying over water yet. So one step at a time. Anybody wants to tell me a better engine setup than this, feel free. This is air. I don't know if you can see what that is with this glare. I can't, but I'll read it to you. It's a 2210A 1650 kV with 180 watts, I guess, Turnigy. Seems to fly everything else I got pretty good, so I guess that's about it. Nothing new, except I would recommend these products here for if you're building a plane for the first time, or well, not the first time, but once you get building them and you decide you want to do something like this, I'd definitely do it. So thanks everybody, and we'll see you on the flip side.